Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Christina and I'm glad if you've come back to watch another video, and welcome if you're new. I am here to talk about all things brain retraining and neuroplasticity and the role that it plays in chronic illness and how to heal. I am someone that was dealing with a chronic illness since 2021, which looking back, it probably started before that, but my physical symptoms really took a dive and my health just plummeted in January of 2021. So it took over a year and a half for me to get to this point where I'm feeling like myself, back to health, actually probably even better than I've ever felt, because I think that using neuroplasticity, brain retraining, nervous system healing is something that can go very deep and really get to the core of issues that you may have been having throughout your lifetime without realizing it. But it's been so helpful to me, just not for physical symptoms, but also for mental aspects and just my lifestyle overall. I really am grateful for Primal Trust, which is the program that I've been using, and I would recommend it to anybody that is looking to heal a chronic symptom. But today I wanted to make a video about how fear plays a role in becoming chronically ill. And it's sort of a chicken or an egg scenario a lot of times, or so it seems, because we get sick because probably we were living in a state of chronic fear, anxiety, depression, whatever you want to call it, but usually fear is the driving energy behind that. And then when you get symptoms and you get sick, what happens is you start to get scared of your own body and your symptoms, food, working out, whatever it may be that you used to do and you used to do without even thinking twice about it. And now it's something that's completely taken over your life because all you can think about is, am I going to be able to do X, Y, Z, because I don't want to get a symptom and feel unwell or have a crash or whatever it may be. So I realized going back now that I was in a lot of fear and constant anxiety and just making decisions out of fear, just worrying about the future, just things that we all do, but it was just to the point where I think it really created this chronic illness in my body. And then after living in a moldy apartment and getting food poisoning, it was sort of the perfect storm for me to develop symptoms in my body that I'd never had before in my life. And I was someone that had always been relatively healthy with just, your random sinus infection or something here and there, and cold or flu, whatever. But this was something completely different that I never had to deal with. And I'm super thankful that I was able to live in this age of lots of information and YouTube, where I was able to discover channels and people that led me to books and programs and things that really gave me an understanding. And it took me a while to get there. We're all usually treating from the physical aspect first. And when that doesn't work and the supplements, the medication, doctors, chiropractors, whatever, doesn't heal us, or makes maybe a little dent, but we can never fully get rid of our symptoms, we start to wonder, like, what the heck is wrong with me? And the first time I heard about brain retraining, it was really hard for me to grasp that concept, because to me it sounded like someone was saying that I had brain damage or some kind of mental illness, and that's scary. And I just didn't know, well, how am I supposed to heal this? But then that led me to the DNRS program, John Sarno's work, and then eventually the Primal Trust program. So it's really not that scary. You're not brain damaged. It's just that your body is usually stuck in a fight, flight, freeze situation. You cannot enter that rest and digest parasympathetic state that your body needs to be in order for it to repair and heal itself. And that is why you stay stuck in a loop of chronic illness and symptoms that don't seem like they're ever going to go away. But they will. And I know just from my own experience and having days where I just wondered if I was ever going to feel better again. Now here I am telling you that I do feel better, and that this 100% works for me. I've seen it work for hundreds of other people. I've watched so many healing videos I can't even count. And that's really what brought me to this place, was the encouragement from others telling their stories and listening to people who have gone through various brain retraining programs, because there's quite a few of them out there now. So I do think that holding on to the belief that you can heal and the hope is what's going to help, because that's the opposite of fear, right? So to me, I viewed it as vibrational energy. Whether you believe in that or not, it is what it is. I don't think it's like something to argue over. It's just, it exists, and fear is an energy that's very low vibrational, and being in a state of joy and looking on the bright side of things and focusing on what the good that can come and what your future is going to hold in a positive way is the complete opposite, and is a high vibration that you can be in. And that is what's in alignment with health and healness, and fear is what is in alignment with illness and being unhealthy and depressed and anxious. And so when I stumbled across John Sarno's work, this was one of the driving factors. And I started to realize, you know what, this is exactly what I'm doing. Like every day I'm waking up wondering what symptoms I'm going to have, constantly worrying about what I'm going to eat, planning meals in my head every day. If I have to go out anywhere, be gone all day, trying to figure out where I'm going to eat, if there's something I can eat where this place is, because I don't want anything that's going to like completely set me off and make me feel horrible. And it just seemed like at the time, everything made me bloat or just feel uncomfortable or have stomach pain and cramps or whatever. And so I was trying to rationalize in my head what's the things that would make me feel the best that I possibly could without having any symptoms. And I was really down to eating just maybe like 10 foods, less than that at one point. But I think a few months ago, I was probably just rotating the same 10 foods over and over again. And I would slowly add in things here and there, but it just seemed like no matter what I tried to eat, it caused a symptom. And this is coming from someone that's never had any sort of food allergies before in my life, and I could pretty much eat whatever, and I wouldn't get sick or feel ill or anything like that. So this was a complete drastic lifestyle change for me, but it's just something that I became used to. So I started living in this state of fear about food, and so it was just this cycle that I was stuck in, because I couldn't understand why my body would not just get over these food sensitivities, why it just wouldn't go back to normal after trying everything doctors recommended. And just thinking, oh, well, there must just still be mold in my body. I mean, the test came up positive. It showed I had pretty high levels of mold. So, why, with the medication and the supplements that were prescribed, why am I not able to add foods back in? Why do I still feel bad? And it's like my body just would not detox and let go of whatever the mold or infections that were inside. So I think once I was able to just get to the point where I understood this and I listened to daily videos, I'll link some channels down below that I feel were really helpful, like just daily pep talks and good information and healing stories and things about TMS, which is the mind-body syndrome, and how anxiety and fear really plays a role. That's when I was able to start to see a shift. And it didn't happen overnight for me. It does for some people. But at that point, I was willing to accept that it was TMS and that it wasn't physical. Like, I wasn't going to sit around and just keep saying, oh, there's still mold in my body, there's still an infection in my body. I needed to try something else. And so I think when I was really able to accept that and stop chasing the physical things and trying to look for new supplements or another doctor or something else that I was missing outside of me, it was more looking internal and saying, okay, I'm going to heal me. No one else is going to heal me. There might be people who are helpful along the way who can give me tips and tricks, or, like the program that I went through, but ultimately those programs are putting the power in your hands. You have to do the work. It's just like hiring a personal trainer to get fit. It's the same thing, but it's getting fit for your brain and your nervous system. And you really have to let go of that fear, because that is what's going to keep you stuck in the loop of constantly being in a state of worry every day and the perceived danger outside of you, because there is really no danger. Your body is doing its best to try and protect you. So again, it's not even your body attacking you. So I think once you can really come from the standpoint and have an understanding that your body is there to get back into balance, and it really wants to be in that rest and digest repair state for you, that's when you can start to see a healing take place. And it, again, it's, the timeline is different for everyone. I know, that's like everyone's big thing, is they just want to hear like, well, how long did it take you? And everyone's different, and it's really going to depend on you, and if you want to put the work in, and how your body's going to react to it. And there's no telling, because we're all so different. Like for me, it was from when I got sick in January of 2021 up until now, it was over a year and a half, coming up on 2 years. And I'm well. I'm a lot better than I was. I may not be 100%, but I know I'll get to 100%. Just with the drastic changes that I've seen in the last couple months, once I've really started doing the nervous system work. I do know that this is possible now, and I'm 100% a believer that this can work for anyone in the chronic illness world. And it's not to say that there aren't physical things that can help too, but I noticed that I allowed the nervous system and the brain retraining to work first, get out of that low vibration of fear, and raise my vibration up to where healing and repair can take place, because they're not in alignment with each other, right? So your emotional state is going to make a huge difference. And when I did that, I allowed that to work for probably, it was maybe like a month, that I stopped all supplements, a medication that I was on. And this is not to say anyone should do this. You should check with your doctor. And my doctor was okay with me taking breaks from it. And regardless, it was a type of medication, an antifungal, that wasn't going to be any kind of like hazardous to my health if I went off of it. And I didn't feel like it was working. It wasn't really doing anything. I wasn't feeling worse, but I wasn't really feeling a lot better either. And same thing with the supplements that I was on. So it's just my decision to go full force on this program and stop the supplements, because I wanted to make sure too that it was that was causing a difference in my body, and me doing these daily practices, that was really what I was missing. So it was sort of just like an experiment too on my behalf. And what do you know? I started to feel better within days. I was eating foods I hadn't eaten in a year and a half. And here we are almost 2 months into the program, and I'm feeling way better than I was. I'm eating lots of different foods that I wasn't. I'm eating at restaurants. I'm still careful about what I eat. Like there's still things I won't put in my body. I've always been a healthy eater and a clean eater. So I'm still eating super clean, organic, usually just meat, fruit, just very little grains. Like I eat a little rice here and there, but mainly my diet is meat, protein, eggs, fruit, raw dairy, a little bit of raw cheese here and there. But other than that, I really don't eat processed food. When we go out to dinner, I'll have a little cheat, like maybe some fries or something. And, I'll order matcha teas at places now with coconut milk in them or whatever. Like I'm not scared of ingredients. I'm not like obsessing or looking at ingredients anymore. And I've also just been able to go out on the weekends and eat a gluten-free donut and be fine. So I'm definitely not just going like full ham into eating tons of junk food or anything. And I don't plan to do that at any point in my life. I just know that if I want to have a little treat now, I can, and it's not going to send me into this huge flare, and I'm not afraid of it anymore when I do want to eat it. This has been a game changer for me. And so at that point, I started to add in my supplements and my medication back in once I knew that my nervous system was starting to calm down. It's a really hard feeling to explain too, but I could just feel my body coming back online. I could feel my digestion coming back online. And when it does, sometimes you might feel these little sensations. And again, I was really trying not to be afraid. Like, oh, okay, that's weird. My stomach hasn't like done a little flip flop like that in a while. But I know it's because things are trying to balance out. Probably my vagus nerve coming back online too, which had been out of whack. It's just really at that point where it's sensations you probably haven't felt in a while, especially if you've been sick for years. So again, I don't want anyone to think that because your body is feeling certain things, it's like, oh no, it's just another symptom, or that's the fear. And so I went the other direction this time, and I was just like, okay, it's just doing what it needs to do to get back to where it's at. And sure enough, it was just something short-lived, like maybe I would just feel a little ting here and there, nothing major. I would just keep going with my day, and that would be it. It's nothing that would last for hours or days or anything. And again, I've had days where I've just felt completely normal. I haven't had any sensations, any symptoms. So that's really when I knew. And I do think once I was able to add in the medication and the supplements back in that I was taking, and it was only a few, I don't like taking tons of things, I do feel like they started to work. Like at that point, I do feel like my body was releasing toxins and things were getting out of me. I could even see a difference in my skin. I just look more like happy, glowing. Can see a difference like in your eyes. Like if you don't look at someone every day, it's probably hard to tell, but like my husband or someone that sees me every day could look at me and say, yeah, you look like you have like more life in you now, and you look a little bit different and definitely healthier than you did a few months ago. And I started to gain some weight back because I had lost tons of weight, especially when we first moved out of the moldy apartment. I was like frail and thin, and I looked sick, to me anyway. Like there's people that would just, say you don't even look sick. But to me, I did, because I know, you see yourself every day, and I knew I had lost a lot of, not just weight, but muscle, because I couldn't work out the way I wanted to. At the time, I was only able to go for like 20 or 30-minute walks. So that was huge, when I noticed just in these last couple months that I really started to gain muscle back, and up my workouts again a little more, and just feel overall healthy, and like I just look like my normal self again, because I really didn't want to look, super skinny, and it's not my vibe. So I just like to look healthy, and I like to work out, and I like to have a little bit of muscle tone on me. So yeah, I just think that being in a constant state of fear played a huge role in why I got sick. And then more fear was added on top of that when I got sick, because I felt like crap every day, and I was scared to eat, and my body was reacting to so many things. But I had to reverse that. I had to realize that the fear was what kept driving the symptoms. And so once you can accept that and keep telling yourself that, like, I'm okay, I'm safe, it's just a sensation, you'll start to notice there'll be shifts in your physical health, and just even in your mental well-being. You'll just feel differently. And it might take some time, and it might not. It could happen quickly for you, but I wouldn't let that be discouraging at all, because everything happens in its own time for people. And so it's really important that you just keep reminding yourself of this every day, every time you have a sensation, because that's going to be the practice, right? Like just like the workout for your body, it's just going to be what creates new neural pathways in your brain, letting your nervous system calm down, reminding yourself that you're okay. So anyway, I hope this was helpful to you guys. And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below, and you can subscribe. I'm going to keep making videos as much as possible to encourage you. And I would love for you to reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm going to leave my email too. if you want to talk a little bit more in an email. And then I'm also going to be offering coaching services. I know that brain training programs and things can be confusing. You don't know where to start. They can be very expensive. So if you just want to have a coaching session with me via Zoom or just a phone call, I'm happy to do that. So thank you again, and I'll talk to you guys soon.